This story comes from the pages of issue 2 of the Marvel manga miniseries called Zombies Assemble. Please support the official release. The next issue opens where we see a frantic Rhodey receive a distress call from Tony Stark not long after the zombie virus had been let loose on this dimension. Informing his friend that the virus was spreading through the city and was contracted through physical touch, James would go to contact his fellow military members to create a perimeter and prevent things from getting any worse. With Tony thanking Rhodey for being so proactive on things, the man then asked how the other Avengers were doing, where we see that this whole time while he was talking, Stark was engaged in close combat with the now fully zombified Thor, who was out for blood. With Hawkeye and Iron Man giving the Asgardian everything they had, things then cut to Bruce Banner as he overlooked the infected Black Widow as he feverishly worked on a vaccine. As Bruce approached the woman, Captain America warned him to be careful, where he remarked that he needed to get a sample of her blood as Thor was a bit too rowdy and pretty much invulnerable to draw a sample from. With the still conscious Nat telling Bruce not to touch her, the dude told her that all was good as he was wearing gloves, where she happily responded by telling him that she was eager to touch him barehanded when all this was over. Glad to see that the writers still kept that weird horn-dogishness of the original Joss Whedon Avengers movies. It's almost nostalgic. Before the pair could get too hot and bothered, Cap noticed that things weren't quite right, as it had went deathly quiet in the lab next door, where Iron Man and Hawkeye were combating zombie Thor. We are then greeted to a single grim panel of Tony's helmet lying on the cold lab floor. On my first read, I absolutely thought the dude was toast, but Stark proved what a Chad he was even in manga as he wrestled against the Thunder God, still sporting his iconic and rather defiant grin on his face. Attempting to save his friend, Hawkeye fired a series of arrows at the starving Asgardian, only for him to deflect them like they were toys, where he went in for the kill. Thinking this was their end, the men prepared for the worst, where suddenly a powerful blast shot through the facility halls, striking the monstrous Thor, knocking him out cold. Wondering just what could have been strong enough to knock Odin's son out with one shot, the pair looked on to see a young woman armed with some sort of futuristic cannon, asking them to come with her. Before any questions could be asked or answered, the lady blew her cover as possibly the biggest Captain America simp alive as she rapidly went to work snapping photos of the man in blue. Apologizing for going full fangirl, the woman revealed herself as Dr. Amano, who was one of the scientists working for the Stark Industries R&D department. Bowing in honor of her boss Tony Stark, Iron Man was a bit taken back by the strange girl and had Jarvis run a background check, who confirmed that she indeed was telling the truth and had been hired shortly after Pepper Potts had taken over the company. In his search, Jarvis also discovered Amano's fan site for Captain America, which consisted of several photos of the hero doing just common day-to-day things, where Tony asked if she was some sort of stalker, only for her to artfully phrase it as a celebration of how great Cap was. Hey, simp or not, boys, I think she gets a pass for being a cute anime girl. Agreed? Noticing that she even had photos of Steve and Natasha putting on their zombie costumes from Tony's party earlier that night, the team wondered just how the heck she got these, where she revealed that she merely hacked Tony's security cameras and took screenshots. Tony could not even be mad at this, for he was quite impressed at the woman's hacking skills, as his firmware was top of the line. Getting down to business, the team analyzed the weapon Amano had used to take down Thor, asking just what it was. With a nervous smile, the scientist told the men that they should recognize it, saying that she knew for a fact they had all seen it before. We all then get our collective memories jogged as we discover that this weapon belonged to one of the Chitauri aliens that had invaded Earth during Loki's attack in the first Avengers movie. Amano then reveals that after the battle, some of the Chitauri tech had ended up on the black market, where she, being the fangirl that she was, bought one for a high price at an auction. Seeing how this tech was able to easily take out Thor, Tony said they should get this weapon outside to aid the other infected, where the doctor, in a panicked manner, was surprised to hear the infection had made its way out of the building, swearing this could not be possible. On guard, the Avengers then asked the nervous Dr. Amano just what she knew about this virus that she was not telling. She then has the team review security footage from earlier that night, where they cross-reference video of Thor, the Stark Tech employee from the party, and a Chitauri race alien from the Battle of New York. Judging by the facial features of all three, it was clearly evident that this infection was from Chitauri itself, and was turning whoever was infected into alien-like zombie creatures. Amano then told them that she had managed to get a sample of Chitauri cell matter from the weapon that she purchased and planned to study its properties on how to better mankind. Despite being brilliant, Amano showed just how equally selfish and foolish she was, for security was tight at Stark Industries and she could not study it as closely as she would have liked. Therefore, she stole the sample and brought it with her on her bag, which ended up getting stolen on the subway, exposing this virus to the world. Okay, cute anime schoolgirl or not, that one is unforgivable. With even the normally understanding Captain America commenting on how reckless this was, the men agreed that there was no time to argue and that they needed to use this tech to formulate a plan on saving the public. Despite being the honorary fool of the night, Amano at least did have a saving grace, where she revealed that she did in fact have a single vial of antivirus that she created to cure an infected. Shocked and impressed at all the revelations of this rather chaotic woman, the gang suited up in protective gear and injected the antivirus into the unconscious Thor to see if it would help him. Like a miracle, we would see the medicine's effect begin to immediately take place as Thor's mutated alien face began to revert back to that of the beautiful Chris Hemsworth. Regaining consciousness, the God of Thunder asked what happened to him, where he was greeted by his friends, who asked how he was feeling. Hearing a very loud grumble from the Asgardian's stomach, the man admitted that he was quite hungry, which brought smiles of relief to his companions, happy to see that he was back to normal, saying they could get him all the food he wanted. Asking the big guy just what he wanted to eat, we would see that things were not all at peace, as blood began to coat Thor's eyes, where he sat up bellowing a demonic-like howl as the heroes tried to restrain him. With the Avengers barely able to keep things under control, they frantically asked Dr. Amano what was wrong, only for the nervous woman to be completely clueless, exclaiming that this should have worked.